I was a loose cannon, that I couldn't be trusted.
President Trump still not apologizing for blasting Pope Leo over his anti-war stance. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi.
Trump really doubled down on his feud with the Pope. He said that the Pope is wrong, that he should not be wading into U.S. politics.
The administration's hosting talks between Israel and Lebanon in Washington today. CBS's Christian Benavidez has spoken with Brian Hooker, the Michigan man freed more than a week after his wife went missing during a boat ride in the Bahamas.
I won't be able to stop looking.
You want to keep looking for that?
I'm going to need somebody with more authority to tell me to stop.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Hi, I'm Wade Hayes, owner of Toots Good Food and Fun. I strongly believe that volunteers make a positive difference in the quality of life here in our community.
Susan Daniel with the DAR is our Toots Outstanding Volunteer. Susan is devoted to preserving history and helping others learn how to trace their family's roots. Susan Daniel is the parliamentarian at the Captain William Lytle chapter of the DAR. Our Toots volunteer, Susan Daniel, with the Captain William Lytle chapter of the Daughters of American Revolution.
At Toots, we strongly believe that it's important for every one of our citizens to give some of their time and talent back into the community. And we want to honor these individuals with a Toots gift certificate good at any of our Rutherford County locations. 860 Northwest Broad Street, on Church Street in the Barfield area, in Smyrna on Sam Ridley, and Toots West on Franklin Road at Rucker Lane.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Tuesday morning edition of the Roundtable Show with Rick and Wayne. And morning, Wayne. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, Brother Rick. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Love this weather, and I check the water temperature of Percy Priest Lake every day.
You're ready, aren't you? Got the boat cleaned up?
Well, no, not yet, but probably in about 2 weeks I'll go over and take the cover off and clean it up. And
well, don't go this weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
Oh, okay.
It's going to fall off a cliff. We're going from
the
85 to 68 on highs. I'm taking Brian's job.
I don't remember an April this warm ever.
It's way, I don't know. I'm having to water my bushes, my lawn, my pasture right now with the horses. They've already scarfed it down, and the 2,4-D did not take for whatever reason. I don't know if it was too dry or what, but I'm gonna have to respray. So it's terrible.
Yeah, but I just blown away. At least we're into full-blown baseball, so that's good.
Did you watch the Masters?
I did not. I had too many things going on with grandchildren and stuff like that. We've got coach pitch baseball. We've got basketball. We have flag football, and just the entire week's full of all of their activities. So enjoying the heck out of it, but it keeps you running.
Oh, and last weekend, of course, I was out of town, and I thought about you, and this is weird, because you run around, you've got your Toyota, and you're putting all these miles on that thing, but I was in a hybrid Toyota Sienna van, so it ran all battery, but it has the motor there.
Yeah.
We were getting 47 miles a gallon in this big 7-passenger van running around, and I fell in love with that thing. My wife was a heck no, but I was like, 55, could I go minivan route, man? But I'm going to tell you, that thing got unbelievable gas mileage. But,
she said your minivan days are over.
It ain't happening.
Well,
it was not
something like that. What is that, about 50, 55,000?
I don't know. We'd have to check on that, but I'm gonna tell you, man, it was so nice.
Yeah.
It was easy and getting out. There was a group of us, so it was easy to get in and out of, and just it was so quiet. Of course, running around town, and it has a little dial, and it tells you if it's pulling off motor or battery. And when it goes braking, it's charging the battery, and when you're using the motor, it charges the battery. So the battery never dropped like 1 bar at one point.
Yeah.
Other than that, run around town. But
the funny part about the 2018 Camry I have, it's got all these safety things, with the backup camera and the side stuff and all. And, I thought, no, I never use that stuff. Now, when I drive my 2014 Wrangler, I have to bring my A game because I don't have any of that stuff. And I'm going, man, I wish I had these safety things. But it's just, that the Camry, just I really enjoy it. It just, I've actually gotten out of it 2 or 3 times and forgot to turn it off. And the only way I knew that it wouldn't, when I tried to lock it, it wouldn't lock. I was like, oh crap! I didn't
left it running again.
I left it running again. So, we're, I bet your horses are hot.
Yeah, I've been leaving them up in the daytime. I turn them out in the last 2-3 hours of the day. Let them get out a little bit then. But we ride. Of course, we go on trips, and the sun will bleach horses out. So they'll take a black horse, make it reddish. Brian knows
I
this.
had no idea.
So they'll make them look rust colored, and dries their manes out and everything else. And we got to have our horses looking good for when we go. Yeah. Meet with our friends and stuff like that, so I kind of leave them up a little bit.
We've been pretty blessed. We hadn't listened to the weather guy here recently. Usually April has a lot of thunderstorms and tornadic possibilities and stuff. And
knocking on wood here.
Knocking on wood here. We hadn't listened to Brian in a couple of weeks, I guess.
There's too much spring left to talk like that.
I know. We're still at the beginning stages.
It's missing us for whatever reason right now. But I think something's changed in we've talked about this, but the earth is tilted because what Kansas, I felt like, got a whole lot of, we're seeing that now.
Yeah, it's moved east.
It's weird. It really is, yeah.
Brother Rick, you and I have made it a mission to have guests that impact positively on the lives of our county community children. And today we're blessed to have again Beth Bryant, who's the location leader for Isaiah 117, and we're blessed to have you as our guest today, and so blessed to have Isaiah 117 here in Rutherford County. So thank you for being with us this morning.
Well, I appreciate it. I always look forward to coming on the show with you guys. So thank you for having me again.
Well, we want to, we want to spotlight those organizations and people like yourself that they're taking care of our children, especially the ones in need. And gosh, you certainly are taking care of children that are in need.
Talking about spring, it's been really, I guess strange is the word. We have been so incredibly busy over the last couple of months with children. I was looking back on the month of March, and we served 52 children in the month of March, which is quite higher than our normal average. And it's always heartbreaking to think about that. It's a blessing in the same time that we do have our house here in Rutherford County to serve those vulnerable children. But at the same time, last week alone, we had 8 different children that came through the house, children that were being removed from their homes or children that were disrupting their foster homes. And it's just been, I've just been awestruck at the number of children in our community that are either coming into custody or that are disrupting placement that they have. And we've been incredibly busy for sure.
Maybe take us back down the memory road. And Rick, certainly with his law enforcement background, what it was like for a child that was removed
Sure.
from a home before Isaiah 117.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're actually about to celebrate 3 years of being open. April 23rd will be our 3-year anniversary of having an open home here in Rutherford County. But I can definitely attest to what it was like before that. When I first learned about Isaiah 117, I got involved as a volunteer. At the time, we were just trying to raise awareness and raise funds to build a house here in our community. And so when children were being removed from their homes or their environment due to neglect or abuse or environmental situations, there's a number of reasons why children are being removed and brought into state's custody, but finding placement or finding where, next steps for the kiddos in our community, it takes time. It doesn't just happen right away. There's not a removal and then an immediate placement into a foster home or a group home or sometimes a treatment facility. There's paperwork that has to be done. There's phone calls that have to be made. That paperwork has to go up a chain of people in our regional Department of Children's Services office so that they can figure out what is the best situation for this child or for this group of children. And what our founder learned is that sometimes takes a couple hours and sometimes it takes a couple days. And so before our house existed here in Rutherford County, caseworkers had to have somewhere to take these children, or our children I should say, on this really hard day, and the DCS office was really the only option. And so you can imagine, a really awful day for a child. Even if your home is not a safe place for you, it's still your home. And so sitting in an office cubicle or in an office chair in a brick building, with a woman or a man who is there, trying to help you, but still someone you've just met that day, while they're making phone calls and typing away on their computer, and you're sitting there just processing everything that's happened to you, is not an ideal situation. Absolutely not an ideal situation. And before our house opened, when I was helping as a volunteer, we were serving children at the DCS office. And so we had a little group of people who were, that were interested in wanting to help. And so when a child would come into custody and would be at the office, they would send out a message. Hey, we've got a kiddo at the office. They really need lunch today. Can someone run and grab pizza and a Sprite and drop it off at the DCS office? Or hey, we had, 2 little boys that came into custody. They're looking for placement. Can somebody come and get their things and take them home and wash their belongings and bring them back to the DCS office before they go to placement? So, as I'm helping with all of this, I'm realizing, A, the large number of children in our community that were coming into custody, and B, how incredibly important it was for us to have a house like this in our community, because there was no kitchen to make a meal for these children. There was no place to wash their belongings. And not only that, the majority of the time they were coming with nothing. So there was no resources there to pack a bag for them, to make sure they had all the things that they needed. So they weren't going into their foster placement empty-handed with just the clothes they were wearing. And so luckily now we have an Isaiah house here in our community, and Rutherford County has embraced our mission and what we're doing, and children no longer have to sit in a DCS office on their removal day.
Yeah, and that's still going on, unfortunately, in some counties. We're just so fortunate to have Isaiah 117, and there's some other counties that you guys take care of as well. But
yes,
y'all keep growing, and it's phenomenal at the rate of you guys. And I've always said it from day one, because my prior law enforcement, that we needed to turn this over to nonprofits in the private community, because they'll do it, and they are doing it a lot better than what any state agency is. The time the state gets involved in things, the red tape gets in the way, and bureaucrats and taking money away, and their heart, I wouldn't say is not in the right place, because they tried to fund the program, but it gets caught in a lot of ways, and you guys are just doing a phenomenal job with that.
Well, and we have the joy of working with especially the Rutherford County caseworkers who are in the trenches every day, trying to keep our children safe, unfortunately having to remove children from situations where they're not. And these caseworkers have become like family to us, and our home is a refuge for them too. Yesterday we had a kiddo at our house that left for placement, and the caseworker, I could tell, was frazzled. I mean, it was only mid-afternoon, but she'd been up all night, and she was packing up her bags to head back to the office, and I looked at her and I said, hey, you know what? You don't have to leave. Like, the house is empty at the moment. It's quiet. If you want to sit here, make a cup of coffee, and just work by yourself for a couple hours, and you could just see the relief just pour over her, but I mean, I really feel like our Rutherford County workers, first of all, do a phenomenal job, and you can ask anybody in the mid-state region. Rutherford County, I think, is doing such an amazing job that other counties are being asked to look and see, hey, look at what a great job Rutherford County is doing. Like, we need to be mirroring what they're doing. But yeah, we want to make sure that they feel loved and appreciated, because they do have a very difficult job. They're out there every day, being overworked and underpaid, and they've got families too. I mean, they've got baseball games and basketball games that they're missing because a child needs to be removed, and they thought it was going to take 2 hours, and instead it took 6. So,
and Rick, you probably can dive in on this, but when children are being removed, is it due to someone alerting DCS of a unsafe environment for children, or is it because the parents have been incarcerated? I mean, I guess there's a plethora of different reasons, but what seems to be the primary cause that gets DCS involved in removing children?
So both of those scenarios that you mentioned are very common. Parents being incarcerated, someone, maybe a teacher or a neighbor, alerting DCS of an unsafe environment. Sometimes it's the actions of children, especially I think a lot of times our teens come into custody because of poor decisions that they've made. 9 times out of 10, what we learn is a lot of times that's because they have not been raised in an environment where they've, had parents that are setting good examples for them. It's, we see a lot of generational trauma. Mm-hmm. Sometimes parents are just exhausted and they say, we just can't do this anymore. And sadly, that happens a lot.
Wow. But I really didn't think of that aspect, actually.
Children with extreme special needs or behaviors that parents just don't have the capacity to handle. That happens. Lately, we're seeing a lot of undocumented children come into custody. Parents that are, maybe making poor decisions, and then it's determined that they're undocumented, and then we have the children that are coming into custody for those reasons. A lot of drug use, unfortunately. Drug use by the parents, children who are being exposed to those types of things. I mean, there's so many reasons. Rick probably could list just as many as I could.
I think you about named them all.
Yeah.
But the system, unfortunately, is made to when parents do things wrong, either, for whatever reason. They may be breaking a law and they're let's say they're a DUI stop and you've got your 2 kids in the back seat. Mm-hmm. And then they're belligerent already. They're upset now that you're arresting them for that DUI. They won't give you or provide you with people that can take care of those 2 kids that you have in the back seat with you, and then they end up, everything gets transported then at the police department, where let's call it at your command post, and then we're trying to then calm that person down we're trying to interview the kids of grandma, grandpa, uncle, somebody that we can find family member wise, and not always they can be able to voice that. Obviously, with today's age of cell phones, nobody remembers anybody's cell phone number. Right. If you think
I don't.
30 years ago, you remembered all your best friends' phone numbers. Now,
right.
If it wasn't for our gas pump thing that my wife and I use, I'd probably forget my wife's phone number because I have to type it in there to get my gas discount. But they just don't remember that, so kids don't know. And a lot of times you can hand a phone to a 5-year-old and it can open it and find that family member and call them on that phone. And it starts that way. Well, that starts the ball rolling. So then you've got them sitting in the station, and then DCS has to call, because the only one that can take custody of kids are DCS. So we have to call the Department of Human Services, and we operate still today under this on-call status. So everybody works 8 to 5, and at 5:01 everybody goes home, and you got somebody on call. Well, that person on call, like you're talking about, gets overwhelmed, and they may be on call from Friday night to Monday morning, and they catch everything that comes in. Well, when's everybody off work? Friday at 5:01 till Monday morning at 8 a.m. So all this stuff goes on.
A lot of things happen over the weekend.
So it's not the DCS workers, but the police officers, the detectives. Smyrna was really busy this weekend. I talked to somebody over there, and they still operate under the same on-call status. We don't have full-time people that own investigations that work weekends. They work on call. Same with nursing. Nursing and doctors and hospitals, they try to cut their budgets so they don't hire weekend staff, but then by the time they pay the overtime for all these people that have to come in, then where did all of our money go? It went to overtime costs. So, but it is. And I mean, Smyrna was real proactive. Sally Walls, everybody knows Sally Walls was a big part of Major Walls of Smyrna, and she became one of our assistant chiefs, and she was a female, and she looked at things differently from a male-dominated field, in my opinion, and she saw the need back then of us needing something for our children of Smyrna that we were coming in contact. And she made a community resources position and took a ex-DCS worker and put her in that slot. She worked there for several years, and then Shirley Key came from DCS. She was a supervisor and came into that role after that. So Smyrna, we were real lucky because we had a resource within our department that she had a couch, she had toys, she had food, she kept on hand, and she had resources to be able to, with DCS supervisors and people like that, and even adult protective services, that we would have the same thing. You're thinking about children. We have the same thing with adults, where they try to live independently as long as they can until they can't, and then they become unfortunately mad at their family members because they're trying to do something and they push them away, to the point we have to get involved. And same thing, we have to find adult protection services to try to bring that resources in now for that adult. But Smyrna's really good about it. Shirley is phenomenal, and she's been there, I bet she's been there 15 years, maybe even longer. I've been gone 9, and she's probably there 10, so she might be knocking on 20 years.
Wow.
That's great.
That's why when first time I ever heard about Isaiah 117 and we were having Beth on, I was super excited, because I can't tell you how many kids, me being a detective, I had sleeping in interview rooms, and we're running to McDonald's and putting our own money out to, provide them at least a food. And, we were good about, Shirley, of having extra clothes and car seats. How many people that run around with a 1-year-old and no car seat, no nothing, we pull them over, and of course we're going to follow what the law needs. We don't run around with car seats. So she was able to provide us, and somebody'd have to, and it ties up another unit to go to the police department and get that car seat, install it correctly in a vehicle, and then put that kid and be able to transport them safely. And this is a good standby to get a kid to come out of their shell. And I can't imagine having a kid that was there 2 or 3 hours and then being able to interview with that kid, because it's going to put them in a much better place of that conversation that we may have to have with them.
Well, them coming to your house and being able to get a meal or snacks or take a shower or a bath or, play computer games, just having an opportunity for them to decompress.
Yes. And just to separate from the trauma just for a little bit.
Yep. Take a breath.
That's right. Reset. Take a breath. You guys, I think, have been to the house. Have y'all been to the house? I know you've been.
We put basketball goals.
Yeah.
When we toured it before.
Yes, that's right. Yes, but when you walk in, everything is done with intent. One of our mottos is that everything speaks. The way things look, the way they smell, the way they touch. We want the children that walk through our doors to walk in and immediately feel that the house is there for them. And so that's our goal every day, to make sure. Yesterday when we had guests that were transitioning out, immediately we had volunteers there, doing laundry, resetting beds, like making sure everything was pristine and clean, so that when the next guest walked in, they felt like the house was there for them.
I understand.
That's our mission.
I can't imagine, depending on the age, no matter what the age, even going into the house, because it is so nice. Rick and I have been there, but with the trauma that they're going through, that they've got to be so, maybe mad is the term rather than upset.
Sometimes.
I'm going, wow, what an amazing work that you and the volunteers are doing to take care of these children that are so distressed at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's a house. It's not a brick and mortar, square, ugly.
Good point.
Police department or DCS office or something like that. It's not an office building. It
looks like a home.
Yeah. Red front door home.
Yeah.
Right?
Over the weekend, we had a sweet girl that came in on Friday, and I was there when she arrived, and she was very scared and timid and upset, and all the emotions that you would feel in those moments. And so I got to spend a little time with her before I left Friday, and I was not on call this weekend, so I did not come back to the house until Monday. And I walked in Monday morning, and she was there and gave me a big hug and greeted me with a smile and told me about all the things that she'd done all weekend. There were cookies on the counter that she said she'd made for everybody in the house. And just seeing the transition in her from Friday to Monday, it's just like night and day. And, she was leaving for placement, and she had a lot of nerves about that. But she was leaving, I think, if she had left on Friday, straight from her removal, like I think about the time that she had in our house. Like you said, it was just a refuge for her to just reset and to breathe. And, just that time of, hey, you're not alone. We see you. We love you. You're important. You matter. Anyway, it was just so wonderful to see that difference, from what I saw on a Friday afternoon, and then a weekend of just being loved, and reminded how important you are all weekend, and then seeing her yesterday morning was just phenomenal.
You think they walk out of the facility or the home with hope?
I'd like to think that they do. That's our hope. That's our goal, is to give them hope.
I think I wish they could stay more, because it's a learned behavior to act a lot out just like adults. It's a learned behavior. It takes 19 days in a row to make a habit, and if they get 3 days, they're doing. They're coming into that really good. But it's easy to go back into your peer group and fall back into the same song and dance, unfortunately. So I know a lot of times it was. Not that we ever want to arrest people, but sometimes you had to arrest people to have them get away from their surroundings for a little bit and have a reset to where they might have a better chance in life. And sometimes it works and sometimes it didn't.
And I think, as I said, we served 52 kids last month. So our 3 days is designed for that way for several reasons. One, if it was longer, there would be children sitting in a DCS office, because removals are happening continually. But also, because our house is such a safe, wonderful, loving place, the Department of Children's Services knows that. Yeah. And they know that children that are there are safe. But we don't want it to be seen as a placement. We want them to continually actively be looking for a placement for the children that are in our home. And so that's another reason that our 3-day rule is there.
I know Judge Lampley, he's the juvenile court judge. They're asking to expand their courtrooms because their caseload's growing. So we're growing as a county, and resources have to grow with that as well. So.
Judge Lampley is a huge supporter of what we do. He's come and toured the home several times. yeah, he's definitely on board with what we do.
Yep.
With you having to remove children from their home, is there, McKinney-Vento is the homeless federal statute. Mm-hmm. Are you affected at all by that with, once they're removed, they literally or legally don't have a home anymore?
Well, I know, but they're custody of the state at that point. So okay. I think they're receiving, because we work directly side by side with the Department of Children's Services, but the children are not in our custody. Okay. They're in state's custody, so they're getting state funding, and all of that's happening through the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that kid or that child would then have insurance benefits through the state.
Right.
10 care ends up kicking in, and then let's say if they have some kind of
debilitating issue or
something that would be able to come up, then there's federal funding that can kick in for that kid, and if they go into a foster facility, it helps pay that child away a little bit.
I will never forget, we had a sibling group that came in, and one of the boys was 16, and he had glasses, and they were held together with tape, and very scratched, and the worker was talking with him about how she was going to make an eye appointment for him the following Monday, and he said, an appointment for me? She said, yeah, so that we can get you new glasses. And he literally broke down into tears because it had been so long since he'd had a new pair of glasses.
Oh, goodness.
Wow. Yeah. Listen to Beth Bryant. She's a location leader for Isaiah 117. And hey, this Saturday she's promoting, they've got a car show. It's going to be at the Northside Baptist Church on West Thompson Lane here in Murfreesboro, and it's going to be from 9 to 11:30. $25 entry fee that's going to be there, and they'll have award opportunities for if you want to bring your car out. They're going to have a kids zone, DJ, and coffee and food trucks. So
yeah,
please come out and see them this weekend, and it's all benefits go back to Isaiah 117.
That's right. Program, right. Yeah, and it's actually going to be 9 to 1. The registration's 9 to 11:30. We're going to give awards at 12:30. But yeah, spectators are free, and we do have a spectator voting award, and we also have a Kids' Choice Award. That's always a big one because the kids get to vote for their favorite car as well.
All right, we're going to take our first break. Be right back with you in just a minute.
When it comes to your child's health,
you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you
every step of the way.
What's the location of your emergency? I think my kid OD'd.
Hi, I'm Craig Harris, I'm County Commissioner of Rutherford County. One of the reasons I ran for office is because I wanted to bring awareness to the opioid epidemic that's impacting our county. To stop providing this epidemic with people as we educate them. We have a lot to do, and we have to come together as a community because this problem's not going away.
Are you tired of feeling like just another number with your insurance provider? At Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, Agent Rick Hall prides himself on offering personalized service that puts you first. Every client's needs are unique. From personal home and auto coverage to tailored business insurance, Rick Hall's got you covered. Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency in Smyrna, where you're more than just a policy number. You're a neighbor.
What if opening a checking account came with a perk? At South Central Bank, our popular Green Tree checking account now comes with more added value. That's right, things like cell phone protection, telehealth, roadside assistance, fuel savings, and enhanced identity theft support are all part of Green Tree checking. No hassle, no stress, just perks for doing something you were going to do anyway. Stop by any South Central Bank branch or visit us online at southcentralbank.com. Banking with rewards. South Central Bank, FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
This is a paid legal ad.
I'm attorney John Day. One of our clients was operating a farm tractor when he was rear-ended by a tractor trailer. In an instant, his life was changed forever. We helped him receive a settlement that has given him financial security for the rest of his life. Now, each case is different, and we can't promise this type of result for every case. But we can promise that when you hire the law offices of John Day, we'll work hard to help you. If you think we can help, call me, John Day.
Now, Good Neighbor Events. Here's Bart Walker.
Free computer classes offered by the Rutherford County Library System. And most of them are over at the Tech Center, the Technology Engagement Center, on Minerva Drive here in Murfreesboro. For information about the library's free computer classes, get in touch with the Tech Center. The Parkinson Support Group meets on the first and third Friday of each month over at the St. Clair Senior Center. That's 10 o'clock in the morning on the first and third Friday. The St. Clair Senior Center is at 325 St. Clair Street in Murfreesboro. And remember, early voting is April 15th through the 30th, so take advantage of early voting. And please give the gift of life. Give blood at the Red Cross. Phone them at 800-RED-CROSS and make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Don't throw away old glory. Bring your tattered American flag to WGNS. And let the girls from BSA Troop 2019 at Trinity United Methodist Church retire it with dignity. Plus, we also recycle Bibles. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor Events.
Rutherford weather.
Mainly clear today with daytime highs approaching 87. Mainly clear tonight, lows dip down to about 62. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Right now, 72.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. Want to take charge of your energy bill? Download the free MyMTE app to track your usage, pay bills, and report outages right from your phone. Download in the App Store today.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at wgnsradio.com.
Welcome back to the second segment of Tuesday Mornings with Rick and Wayne. And we're blessed to have this morning the location leader for Isaiah 117, who has been with us before, but we just are always thrilled to get to promote such a wonderful program that takes care of our county community's children and even some of the children outside of our county. So you're even bigger blessing than we thought.
Yeah, what we have found is there are a lot of surrounding counties that are maybe smaller, don't have the resources that our county has, and their children are part of our DCS region, and so we want to make sure that they are feeling loved on their removal day as well. Rutherford County is our focus, and I would say a majority of the children that we serve are Rutherford County, but we have children from actually 15 different counties that filter in and out of our home. We do have a Davidson County Isaiah 117 house that also helps with that same region.
Mm-hmm.
Their focus is obviously Davidson County, but they help with those counties as well. And then Sumner County is in, I guess you'd say like they're getting there. June is their projected open date.
Cool.
And so Sumner County, obviously Sumner will be their focus, but the three of us will work together to serve those 15 counties in what's called the Mid-State Department of Children's Services region.
I understand. So those 15, what's the furthest county? Is it going west or east or what?
Macon, I guess. Is that all the way up at the top? I get them all.
That's,
Macon County?
That's Lafayette.
Yes, yeah. Lafayette, yes. All the way down to the bottom. So Lincoln County, is that way down at the bottom?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or
yeah.
Is Murray?
Yes, Murray is in there.
Giles, Marshall, that's Lewisburg.
Yes. Trousdale.
So they'll drive a kid an hour and a half
yes.
to the facility. Oh, goodness.
To the house, not the facility. I catch you guys using that word sometimes.
Yes.
To the house.
Yeah.
With the basketball goal and the swing set and the screened-in back porch.
And toys for days.
That's right.
Tell us about the upstairs room.
Okay, so the upstairs is our giving room. So it
I want
spans
people to picture
the
this, 'cause
entire length of the house.
It's amazing.
Yes. Wall-to-wall shelving with, I guess they're like 64-gallon clear tubs, and each tub has a very specific purpose. So one tub may contain little girl size 3 pajamas. One tub may contain adult male size small pants or shorts. Of course, we don't serve adults, but we serve a lot of teenagers, and teenagers wear adult size clothing. One tub may contain journals and fun, cool writing pens. One tub contains hair extensions, because we've learned that a lot of our girls that come in maybe like to add the hair extensions to their hair, and so we have a whole tub of hair if somebody wants some hair when they're at the house. But anyway, everything in the giving room has been donated, either tangibly donated by the community or purchased with money that the community has donated to our house. And it's all things that our kids either need or want while they're with us, but it's also there to help prepare them for the next steps in their journey. So when children leave our home, they're leaving with at least 3 days worth of all brand new clothes, at least one, usually 2 pairs of shoes. And when we say shoes, not just shoes, like we're talking Nike, we're talking Adidas, we're talking your dream tennis shoes. We've got a whole rack full of Crocs and slides. We've got a wall of hoodies because with teenagers, I don't know how familiar you guys are with teenagers, but it doesn't matter if it's 0 degrees or 100 degrees outside, they're wearing a hoodie.
Exactly right.
So we have a whole wall of hoodies, every color, every size you can imagine. We've got toiletries for days because we want to make sure, when you think about when you go on a trip, and of course you guys are dudes, so you might not feel this way as much as I do, but when I go on a trip, I want to make sure I have my shampoo, my conditioner, my face wash, my deodorant, all the things that I care about and that, that make me feel comfortable when I'm away from home. And so when our kids come in, they've had to leave all of those things behind, all of their favorite things. They've had to leave them behind. So we want to make sure when they come to our house that we have, every type of deodorant, every type of shampoo. What we've learned is children with different ethnicities need different types of hair products and different kinds of shampoos and things. And so we try to keep a huge wide variety of those products so that when our kiddos say, this is the kind of shampoo that works best for my hair, we want to say, hey, guess what? We've got that upstairs in the giving room. Wow. We're going to go get that for you. But it's an amazing room, and it takes a lot of organization and a lot of hard work to keep it looking that way. So we're very blessed by our volunteers.
Up with the inventory control.
Yes. Oh, yes, for sure. So we have a volunteer. Her name's Peggy, and the giving room is kind of her domain. Yes. And then she has a team of volunteers, and it's all kind of separated out into zones. So each volunteer has a zone that they're in charge of, and twice a month they come in and check their tubs to see, okay, what are these tubs in need of? Is my tub okay? Does my, men's underwear tub needs some size larges, and if it does, then what Peggy does is she reaches out to the sponsor. So the majority of our tubs in our giving room have sponsors, and sponsoring a tub is a year-long commitment. It usually runs from May to the following April. And so basically it could be an individual, it can be a family. We have a lot of life groups at churches that sponsor tubs. And so what happens is when your tub is running low on things, our giving room team will reach out and you'll go and purchase the items that are needed for your tub to fill it back up again. So that way, when myself or another volunteer is up there at 3 a.m. packing a bag for a child, we don't have to worry about not having size large men's underwear because it's always going to be there.
How do you handle infants?
We just love on them and squeeze them, and
But I mean, are they? Are they? I mean, they come into the house.
absolutely,
Just
yes,
exactly
yeah. I
the
mean, we
same as-
serve just born all the way up to I'm turning 18 tomorrow, so we have to be ready for everything.
I'd say,
Yeah.
a 3-month-old or something, or a 6-month-old coming into the house. I'm going.
Yeah, we actually have what we
Wow.
call the baby closet, because we don't get babies quite as often, because a lot of times babies, especially babies coming from the hospital, are going straight to placement. However, a lot of times caseworkers will call, and so we'll pack a bag, and the caseworker will come by and get that bag if a baby's, because you want as few transitions as possible for children. But when we get babies, we all get really excited, and so we have a baby closet, because when babies come, they require a lot of things. So we have pack and plays, we have a portable changing table, we've got a whole wall of diapers, and we have in the closet hangs every size pajamas, from 0 all the way up to I think size 12, 14 kids. So that way, because sometimes kids are coming, they're coming around dinner time, maybe they know placement has been found, but kids really need a bath, they really need a backpack, they really need dinner. So that way we can throw the kids in the bubble bath, get them washed, grab PJs out of the closet, and while they're eating dinner and watching a movie or playing a game, we can run upstairs and pack a bag for them. So it's just kind of a matter of convenience. So takes out a couple of trips up and down the stairs that way.
Maybe y'all could write everything down and submit that to the General Assembly or to Congress, so they could be as organized and efficient.
They
as
need a
you
baby
are.
closet.
Apparently, yes. So, but I am just, we've been together. You have been with Rick and I guess.
Yeah, maybe
this is
4 times.
This is maybe
Yeah.
a 4th time, and just continue to be just. The warmth I feel for the work that you do, it just makes me so grateful that that Isaiah House is there.
Well, I'm extremely grateful to be able to do the work that I get to do. So the feeling is mutual.
And I guess if somebody wanted to help,
Yeah.
I know you guys take gift cards, and there's a place online they can donate as well. And
So yes, gift cards are always welcome.
Yep.
One of the things that we do for all the kids that come into our house is they get their favorite meal. So from anywhere.
Wow.
If that is Chick-fil-A, it's Chick-fil-A. If it's steak and lobster from Outback, then it's steak and lobster from Outback. And so gift cards to local restaurants are always welcome. We do a lot of shopping, a lot of grocery shopping. So Walmart, Kroger gift cards are great. Dick's gift cards are great. Off Broadway, any local shoe store is always really helpful as well. But as far as finding us online, Isaiah117house.com is our main website, and then you can go to locations and find the Rutherford County page, and our Linktree page is there. And on our Linktree page, all of our upcoming events are there. Information about our car show is on there right now. If you want to make a monetary donation, you can do that there. We actually have what we call our sock buddies, and those are our monthly donors. One-time donations are so amazing, and we're so appreciative, but as I mentioned before, we serve on average 30 kiddos a month, and each child that walks through our doors, we spend on average $300 to $400 per child. Wow. And we are completely community funded. And so having those monthly donors, knowing every month a certain amount of money is coming in through our monthly donors is just, it's such a relief to us. Oh, yeah. And so in order to thank you for that, being a monthly donor, no matter what you're giving monthly, we're going to send you a pair of really cool Isaiah 117 House socks in the mail. And anytime we change our design of our socks, you're going to get a new pair of socks in the mail as a thank you from us.
Is there a minimum that gets that? Or
no, any amount a month.
So as far as your partners, are they listed on your website to get the notoriety of, hey, we're a giving entity to your particular?
You mean like our monthly donors?
Well, or maybe corporate or whatever.
So right now, our car show, we have quite a few local businesses that are sponsoring our car show, and we're in the process of thanking them on our social media page right now. So if you follow us at Isaiah 117 House Rutherford Co. TN, it's kind of a mouthful, but I try to update all the time on everything we've got going on. But yeah, we are very blessed with sponsorships for our car show. The car show, this is our 3rd annual year to have it, and it has really proven to be a really fun event, not just for car enthusiasts, but just for the community in general. We have a lot of families that come out. I think we're one of the only car shows that has a kid zone, and our volunteers have put a lot of time and energy into making the kid zone fun this year. We have a scavenger hunt that we've done every year, so there's like a list of things that the kids have to go around to all the different cars at the car show and find.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a really fun event, but it is a fundraiser, and so we're really thankful to the businesses locally that have sponsored our event to help to support our house.
And that's outside the box thinking for car shows, because car shows are usually the grumpy old men like Wayne and I, and, don't
we get
touch
a few
my
of those.
car
We get a few of those too. Now, with the kids, do not touch the cars.
That's
We're
right,
looking for things, not touching the cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about your other fundraiser, too.
The crawfish boil. So Country Financial, a couple of the owners of Country Financial have formed a group called the People's Agency, and they're doing a lot of great work in the community to spread awareness about nonprofits here in our community that are doing so many great things to help those in need. And they reached out to us a couple weeks ago, and they want to support our Rutherford County Isaiah House. And so they're going to do that with the crawfish boil on April the 26th out at Hop Springs from 1 to 4 p.m. Now here, I'm got to put my glasses on so I can see here. But there's going to be seafood. They're going to have chicken and catfish. Lots of fun for the family. And they're going to the School of Rock. Murfreesboro is going to be performing live.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's going to be a really cool event. So tickets are $30 a person, I believe, for adults, and children ages 6 to 12 are $5 a piece, and then under 5 is free. But if you follow us on our Facebook page or our Instagram page, we've got information on how to purchase tickets for that as well. And there's also a list of immediate needs that we're asking for as far as like tangible donations that the People's Agency has asked for people to bring with them to the crawfish bowl as well.
It's amazing. And Hop Springs, shout out to those guys, because they open their doors for so many different nonprofits and things that happen. And
it's a great venue too.
I know. We're lucky
really
to
blessed to have it. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Good deal. Well, I hope people donate, and and what are some of the church groups? Because y'all got a ton. I know when Wayne and I toured it, there was a whole small group that was upstairs sorting and getting things done. But y'all got a pretty good.
We've been really blessed. I am almost hesitant to name because I don't want to leave anybody out.
On the spot here.
But some
next time bring a list.
Well, some of our some of the big churches that we kind of partner with us throughout the year. Obviously, Northside Church has been a huge supporter of the house since before we opened. The Experience Church is another church here locally that just is constantly showing support monetarily and just through prayer and offering opportunities for us to come in and spread awareness. New Vision is another church that we partner. We're definitely one of their mission partners. They do a lot outwardly for the community, not just for us, but with other local nonprofits. They're very local mission focused as well. Springhouse Church in Smyrna is another church that is constantly inviting us to their conferences and allowing us to set up awareness tables and giving me opportunities to speak to their community. Bethel Church, I think, is another church here that every year their VBS does a drive for us. I mean, I could go on and on. There's so many churches locally that have just really wrapped around our mission. Church of the Nazarene is another one.
Well, I hate putting you on the spotlight.
You really did. Now I'm going to leave somebody out. St. Luke's is another one. St. Rose of Lima. I mean, I could just keep going and going.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are hesitant with, individually going into a situation like this and wanting to help, but they do. So there's church outlets and civic organizations, even through us at Rotary. We do a scholarship program that we give to you guys every year. So there's avenues out there if a person wants to get involved. And once they get involved, I've noticed that through some people that Wayne and I have invited in are members of Rotary right now. They were hesitant coming in, but once they got in, they really, jumped 2 feet in.
God bless you for taking care of our children.
That's right.
Well, I say God bless my volunteers because I could not do what I do without their support day in and day out. So.
Yeah,
very lucky to have them.
We greatly appreciate it. And again, if this weekend, if you're available and you want to go to the Northside Baptist Church or Northside Church now, Wayne corrected us earlier. It's going to have a great car show this weekend. The weather's going to be good. It's going to be cool that morning.
I know. I heard you say it's going to be a little chillier. So dress in layers.
Well,
wear layers.
Down to 55 and go up to 68. So it's going to be a good weekend for something like that. But thank you again.
Absolutely.
You'll be back, I promise.
Yeah.
I'll come back anytime.
Name it when you want to. Everybody, hope y'all have a great week and enjoy this weather. Sooner or later, we'll end up with a bunch of rain storms, but take advantage of what we got going on right now. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.